السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، بارئ الخلائق أجمعين، باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله وصحبه منتجبين. قال الله تعالى في كتاب المبين: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. ولا تقولوا لمن يقتل في سبيل الله أموات بل أحياء ولكن لا تشعرون. ولنبلونكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم المهتدون. It's a matter of great pleasure that we see brothers young in a very good age who come here and deliver speech. I persuade all brothers and sisters, whether they are young, whether they are um, middle-aged, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, who are in the middle age, above 50, 60, to take part and write essays, deliver speeches. By doing so, we can be more in the depth of the meanings and message of whether it is Ashura, Ramadan, whether it is Hajj, any topic, any theme. Just listening is not doing the right job. When we write, we will understand better the different aspects of this great epic. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa wasallam introduced the best youth for us. Who is the best young person? This is very important to not be enough, to not suffice to be a good person. It's not enough to be good, be the best. Otherwise, there are lots of good people in the society. And my perspective, my understanding is that the world is ruined also by good people. Why? Because they're about 50, 60% good. The other 30%, they are having some deficiencies, defections, problems, shortcomings. And this is ruining the society. They're good people, but they're not good enough. We have to be not only good, we are commemorating the legacy of the best person. So our motto is not just to be a good person, because there are lots of non-Muslims who are good people. We are here to be the best person, because our role model is a best person, a perfect person. And Rasulullah introduces one of the quality of the best young person. What is that quality? He says, the best youth among you is he or she who is wearing the clothing, the dressing of the old people. And the worst old person is someone who is wearing the clothing of the young person. In this statement, clothing means not only appearance, it also means beliefs and behavior. Because when you are a very mature person, you act like old people. Yes? And if an old person acts like a young person, it looks ugly. It doesn't look nice. You see an 80 years old lady is wearing the clothing, dress of a 25 years old girl. On the contrary, when a girl dress presentation is like a 60, 70 years old lady, it means she is mature above her age limit. By the same token, when people come here and deliver a talk, primarily and unfortunately, this is the job of people who are middle aged or older. That's not the right attitude. Principally speaking, Islam was a revolution, a movement, an epic which was primarily welcomed by the youth. Imam Ali alayhi salam was a very young person, so much so that Rasulullah nominated him for leadership, and one of the criticism against him was that he is too young. Because one of the tradition in conservative societies is to give leadership for the very old people. No, this is not the right attitude. In Islam, qualification, efficiency is the name of the game. One may be young, but he may be wiser, nicer, more experienced, knowledgeable. So when a young boy or girl comes here and deliver a talk, he is acting like an old person. This means he is wearing the clothing of an old person. This means he is having one of the best qualities of a good person, of the person who is old, experienced, mature enough. After so many experiences and ups and downs, now we have learned that to dress in a very proper manner because we need to wear according to occasion. And this occasion is a very modest and a very glorious and very great occasion. And even people who attend to these ceremonies, they are more intelligent, they're wiser, they're nicer. So this is a very good news that our youth is taking part in this commemoration. I would like, and I will be more than happy to decrease my timing and give it, allocate it to young, old, middle-aged brothers and sisters. By doing so, we learn from each other. By doing so, one go and study about all these themes and topics, and he or she will be very impressed. He will be impressed by these subjects. And by doing so, you will love your beliefs and values. One of the most important quality of Islam is the more you know it, the more you love it. This is contrary to the teachings of, let's say, communism. The more you know communism, the less interested you become. That's why it has been said that who is not a communist when he is studying in the university? And which foolish person is still a communist after graduation from the university? Because when you become graduated, you become more mature, and then you're not interested in communism ideas. Christianity is a good religion. Jesus was a perfect leader, but he was not God. He was not also husband. He was not a father. He was not a commander. He was not a statesman. He was a reformist. He was a guide. He was a perfect person. But Rasulullah is more perfect. One is Kamil, the other is Akmal. So Rasulullah, a father, a husband, a leader, a commander, a statesman. All great positions are filled by him. And Christianity is losing ground in the world. The more you know about the Christian dogmas that Jesus is God, the less interested you become. That's why Islam is gaining ground among Christianity. And lots of Christians revert to Islam. Lots of churches are becoming mosques. I have written a book about this, and inshallah, one night I will talk about that, why they became Muslim. I have introduced great scholars, men and women in the West, especially in Europe and in America, who reverted to Islam, who came to Islam and accepted Islam. Why they became Muslim, I have introduced them. So the more you know Islam, the more you love it. How can we know and love it more? By reading, by writing, by actively delivering speech, by asking questions, by answering questions, by using our critical mentality, by being critical in regards to our approach to our Islamic information. What is ethics? What is mannerism? Ethics is to take stand between falsehood and righteousness. between an oppressor and oppressed. This is ethics. That's what exactly Imam Hussein did. He was active, dynamic. If Imam Hussein was not dynamic and active, we would not have glorified him. He was campaigning. He was not only resisting, but even in some occasions, he was positively aggressive against the oppressors. He was questioning and challenging. The main thing is to be active. Who is an ideal person? Please keep in mind our motto is not to be good, be the best. The best person is an ideal person, a perfect person. An ideal person is not made by the environment. The environment is made by him or her. So he is not influenced by everything outside. On the contrary, the stronger you are, the more impact you put in yourself, in your family, in your surrounding. So when you come and deliver a speech, indeed you are having one of the quality of an ideal person who wants to influence, put impact, change for the better. And by doing so, we will become a strong person. Because remember, teaching is to learn twice. When we teach, we learn again. So I admire those brothers and sisters who actively take part. And even if you know the outcomes and the benefits and blessings, believe me, you will do everything to come and deliver a talk because it makes you strong, brave, critical, courageous, and you will love the depth of the school of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, or whatever you do. You know who is a deviant person? Who is a misguided person? A person who doesn't read, who doesn't write, who doesn't ask questions, who doesn't have critical mind. He just judge. He is judgmental. He is not wise enough like yourself to attend to the lectures, to have a lecturer or guide, to read books, to ask questions. He has read briefly, and reading knowledge in the beginning makes people arrogant because, according to Rasulullah, knowledge has three levels. The first level is arrogance. I become arrogant. Why? Because I have studied, I have read some books, I'm this and I'm that. So one become arrogant. The second level, the middle level is humbleness. When we educate ourselves, we become humble. The last stage and the ideal stage is when we are educated enough, then we know that we know nothing. We admit that we don't know anything. What I know in comparison to what I don't know is not comparable. And then you become a very selfless person. You will always like to learn and be on a receiving position. And then you become a strong person. Otherwise, an ignorant person is an arrogant person. And according to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, nobody shows arrogance except someone who is suffering from inferiority complex. Imagine that psychological analysis of human spirit. Anybody who is arrogant is suffering from inferiority complex. And that's why in Islam it is emphasized so much that we should be humble down to the earth. What is sajda? What is sajda? We put the best part of our body to the lowest thing, which is soil, and the soil of Karbala, which is representing a land of sacrifice and dedication. So please be active. And the fact that you come and listen is also a kind of activism. That's great. That's wonderful. I wish all youth were like that. But at least in the long term, if not in the short term, try to deliver a speech, try to write an essay, try to ask questions, engage yourself. As I said last night, I used to watch movies and read love stories ever since I am exposed to the story of religion and spirituality. Nothing is as sweet, as deep, as spiritual, as relevant, as useful, as valuable as the story of Imam Hussein, the story of Rasulullah, the teachings and guidance of our Imams. Nothing is as beautiful as that. and then you will enjoy your life and you can enlighten others, and in the meantime exchange ideas and be an ideal person. Who is an ideal person? A person who is not made by the environment. On the contrary, the environment is made by him or her. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. We should focus about the meanings of the terms, as we are required to know the meaning of Islam, the meaning of Quran, the meaning of Imam, the meaning of Nabi, the meaning of, among them, Karbala. What is the meaning of Karbala? There are different school of thoughts in regards to this very important term. One perspective is that Karbala means the land of pains and calamities. The other school of thought says that according to Arami language, which was the language of Jesus, which is disappearing, maybe about 10,000 people are speaking that language. And imagine Arabic is so widely spread all over the world. It is never the language. So it means temple of gods, according to that language. It also means um, a soft land. What we especially focus tonight is the fact that, yes, it is a place where there is sorrows and sadness and calamities. I would like to talk about the significance of bala and calamities, pains and problems, and the benefits and blessings that this issue have. Please, brothers and sisters, keep in mind that Ashura is a ground, a context, a pretext to teach Islam, to preach Quran. We not just only talk about one individual, we talk about a school of thought, a value system, ideals, and role models. And by doing so, we access those great leaders and be influenced by their legacy. And the whole idea is to be influenced, to follow, to change lifestyle, to be as strong as someone who is saying that I am follower of Hussein alayhi salam, follower of Zainab, peace be upon her. If that's not achieved, we have not met our goal. So each salat, each Muharram, each month of fasting should make us a better person. That's the whole idea. The calamities is a reality that nobody can avoid it. It's a part and parcel of life. Nobody can say that I have not been inflicted, I have not come across calamities, pains, and problems. As a matter of fact, these pains and problems, calamities, and difficulties makes us strong. If we look at the life stories of the prophets and imams, their life is full of problems and difficulties. Dostoevsky was a Russian writer. He has very interesting quotations. I tell you two of them. He says that two kinds of persons knows the world, the society, the people very well. One is a poor person, and the other is a lady who is not beautiful, because everybody shows the true nature of himself to someone who is poor. Nobody respects him because most of the time, most of the people respect someone who has got material resources. Not a mu'min, because a mu'min is not like that. Rasulullah says, anybody who respects someone because of his wealth is cursed. And it has been said that mannerism is known, is understood when someone is respectful, polite to someone who doesn't benefit him. So one doesn't have to benefit me to respect him. This is showing my true ethics. By the same token, he says that the human being is not made to have a luxurious, peaceful, safe life. Our nature, our psyche, our mentality, our innate is not made for luxurious, very rich and very safe life in a palace, everything at your service. If someone is living in a palace without any problem, any pain, he will break the glasses. He will tarnish that palace because that's not natural. The human being function when he struggles. A student struggle. A student struggle. And then this struggle is the name of the game. This calamities, this problem, this obstacle. We need to pass these obstacles. We need to solve these problems. We need to answer those questions. This is real life. By doing so, we grow, we advance, we develop. One of the richest person in Australia was Kerry Packer. Kerry Packer's son is a billionaire. And do you believe that he was hospitalized in a mental hospital? Someone who is one of the richest person in Australia is not millionaire, he is billionaire. But he has got psychological problem. He is hospitalized. Why? Because when you live in a luxurious life, everything is at your service by pressing a button. You will be bored. It's not a healthy state of affairs. On the contrary, the life of the prophets are full of problems, pains, calamities, disasters. The Christians has an interesting prayer when they eat, when they have dinner or lunch. They say in one part of their prayer, "Oh God, don't expose us to the calamities." Imam Ali alayhi salam says, "Don't ask from Allah that, oh Allah, don't face me with calamities or with problems, because you can't avoid calamities, problems. You will definitely face ibtila, bala. Bala means problems, calamities, tests, examinations. This is something which is not genuine. This is not realistic. You shouldn't say that. You should pray, oh Allah, please protect me from being misguided when I come across calamities. So you cannot avoid calamities. Calamities is good. Problems are good. We need to struggle. Otherwise, being in a palace is boring. So that's why the life of Imam Hussein is full of sadness. Of course, he was also having a very beautiful home. Once upon a time, someone came to Imam Hussein and said, "How come you live in such a beautiful home?" Because the leaders in the Islamic government have to live very simple lifestyle. This is a condition of Islamic leadership in the school of thought of Ahl al-Bayt. One of the condition for the leader is to live like the poor people. Inshallah, I will explain about it another night. And because Rasulullah was having a very simple life and Imam Ali alayhi salam, so some people expected from Imam Hussein. But Imam Hussein was living in a beautiful, nice house. Imam said that this house has been bought because of the mahr of my wife. Ladies have the right to have mahr in marriage, a gift from the side of bridegroom. And my wife asked me to buy her a beautiful home. So that's why I bought this place. So nothing is wrong with that. If one can have a good home. Islam is against poverty. But the thing is, we shouldn't be completely living in a very comfortable, luxurious life because that's not natural. This is against our psychological well being. On the contrary, when we are facing calamities, problems, then we grow, then we develop, then we train ourselves. The verse which I recited in the first part of my speech, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we will test you with calamities such as fear. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ, hunger, loss in life, in your gains and income, in your materialism. And by doing so, we want to test you, examine you. This means that this is a natural part of our life. This is something that we cannot avoid. As Imam Ali says something, that if you lose something precious, it makes you happy. At least it gives you patience. This is good about the sayings of our imams who give us hope and safety when we are facing calamities. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, in the goods, in the properties of the people, there are two partners. One is the heirs, my wife, my children, my parents. They are waris. They inherit from my property, from my goods, one partner. The other partner is the incidents, hawadis. So in the properties of the people, there are two heirs, two factors which inherit. One is my immediate member of the family who inherit from me. The other one is loss, fire, so many other calamities. If I know this and if I lose my car, I don't care because that's a natural part of my properties here. He or she inherit from my property. And that's why everybody is exposed to a kind of theft. Everybody is exposed in one part of his life or her life, loss. And when we understand this formula, we are patient when we lose. So وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ. Even people are being killed. They die. This is a natural part of life. And why I should be disappointed? And that's why, according to Rasulullah, death is a gift from Allah for a mu'min, for a believer. So imagine this school is presenting a beautiful picture about dying. And for a mu'min, as in the case of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Shahada was welcomed, glorified, and it was actually praised and admired. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues and says, those who are suffering from these calamities, examinations, and problems, they are patient. They say that we belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we return to Him, and Allah is with those who are patient, which means when you are patient, when you follow Allah's guidance and teachings, you are relaxed, you are safe, you do not feel hopelessness and depression, you do not suffer from stress. That's why Imam Hussein was so strong when it came to the question of calamities and problems and sadness. Nothing was able to beat him. And it's not unique and exclusive to Imam Hussein. Any man and woman of God, Allah is like that. And that kinds of mentality and behavior can be reflected in our beliefs and deeds. And this is the whole idea that we need to be a person like these leaders to welcome calamities, to say yes to shahadat, to get rid of those long wishes for material gains. Yes, material gains are good, but that's not our sole and exclusive and only objective. They are of secondary importance. What we are having as our objective is to be strong mentally, spiritually, physically, individually, socially. How can we do that? One of the methods is by being in such kind of gatherings, listening, learning, talking, writing, asking, attending, and even inviting others. Because to be an active listener in a congregation, we need to be actively inviting others to come there. We need to persuade others. Why I persuade others to come towards this direction? I say it has changed my life. Not only for the better, for the best role models, for the best beliefs. I say that I never feel disappointed and depressed and stressed because my belief doesn't let me feel disappointment on the basis of a foundation. Reaching to that kinds of foundation needs time and energy, needs efforts. By doing so, by coming here, by reading books, by arranging a lecture, we will be more exposed to these kinds of values and role models, and we will be influenced by their legacy, and then their purpose is met, and then we achieve our goal. In regards to this reality of calamities, a natural part of life, I would like to just summarize my talk and say that look at Imam Mahdi Ajjalallah Ta'ala Farjahu Sharif. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Imam Mahdi will do the same thing as Imam Hussein did. What will he do? He protect and preserve the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the best lifestyle. He actively participate. He is not just a watcher. He is not just an observer. No, he's a player. It's not enough to be observer. Be a player. And this play, this active mentality makes someone like Imam Mahdi the leader of the world. So in the sense that Imam Mahdi as a stand, because remember, ethics is to take position when it comes to the question of haq and batil. We can't afford to be impartial, unbiased, not caring. No, we have to take a position against Yazid in the support of Imam Hussein, a position in support of an oppressed person, and be critical and courageous in front of an oppressor. So this is one common ground between Imam Mahdi and Karbala. The mission of Imam Mahdi will be against those who are misusing resources, misusing religion, abusing the nature, the human being. Now we are living in a world which has a trillionaire. Musk is a trillionaire. He has more than $1,000 billion, and there are very few billionaires. On the contrary, there are hundreds of millions of people suffering from shortage of hospitals and schools and medicine and food. This is injustice. This is injustice. According to Islam, in the teachings of Rasulullah, it has been said that خير الأمور أوسطها, and everything, the middle course is the best. So among the classes also, we have upper class, middle class, and lower class. Which class of the society are the best class? The middle class. Middle class is not poor. A middle class is the best class. Now the middle class is diminishing in the world, including America. You have to do 2 jobs in order to function and survive. This is injustice. On the contrary, when Imam Mahdi comes, he promote and protect the middle class, eliminate poverty. And one has to have genuine, lawful reason to be rich, because richness is very dangerous. In most cases, it is a kind of wealth which is accumulated through illegitimate, immoral behavior and dealings. That's contrary to the teachings of Islam. It has been said that try to be a millionaire legally. If not, be a millionaire in any possible way. We don't have that kind of mentality. End doesn't justify means. We have to have the right end and the right mean. No matter how difficult our situation may be, we are not allowed to use any resources in order to be a rich person. So to summarize my talk in regards to this speech, no matter how difficult one may have his life, his well-being, there is no way that I resort to any means in order to be a rich person. And that's why even Imam Mahdi, when he comes and become a leader, he will live like a very poor person. But he promotes the people's life. He provides affluency and comfort for the citizen of the society. He himself lives a very simple, poor life because he should understand the condition of the lowest degree of the people. This quality is only in Islam. In the teachings of Ahlul Bayt, when it comes to the question of choosing and appointing a leader. And we are so lucky that even leaders in contemporary Muslim world, they, when they are following the teachings of Ahlul Bayt, they have that kind of lifestyle. They adopt this kind of calamities. Because remember, calamities makes us strong. There is a great scholar by the name of Ayatollah Mohseni in Afghanistan. He has a very beautiful saying. And he says, leadership in Islam is a calamity. It is full of pains and problems. George Bush was asked, George Bush Sr., why do you want to be the US president? What is your motivation? He said, I want to establish peace in America and in the world. And I also enjoy the luxury, the privilege of being a president. I don't talk about his policies, whether he was genuinely a peaceful person or not. That's something else, and you don't know about that. But the second motivation is even the first motivation for lots of leaders and politicians and statesmen. Because as a leader, as a statesman, you enjoy palaces, beautiful girls, beautiful cars, beautiful income, high income. Not for a Islamic leader. No, no way. No way. The calamities, leadership in Islam is full of calamities. That's why Rasulullah was a rich person when he married with Lady Khadija, but he left the world as a poor person. His hand was empty. He was asking for loan sometimes. Imam Ali alayhi salam, likewise. Imam Khomeini, Imam Khamenei, they were leading very simple lifestyle, very simple. Even their enemies admit and accept that yes, they had very simple lifestyle. But this is one of the qualities. This is not the only quality. So I would like to summarize my talk that yes, leadership in Islam is full of calamities. Imagine our leader Imam Mahdi is facing lots of calamities. And he is deprived of so many things that we enjoy, but those calamities makes him a stronger person. Those calamities is making him closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this kind of calamities, problems, and things that we are not facing is something which is not making us as great as him. And by that kind of calamities, problems, pains, one becomes strong, peaceful, meaningful. And inshallah, we will talk about the calamities Imam Hussein experienced in Karbala more in future nights. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. با عرض سلام